Savings account, right? So why is it a special one or a glorified one?
Because it's on like lockdown for a certain amount.
Okay, that's a great way of putting it, right? It's a lockdown. Why did we say the bank likes this?
Because
They
it's their
get
money.
your money for a while.
Okay? They get to keep your money for a long time. They don't have to think about giving it up to somebody else, or sorry, they're going to give it up to somebody else. And so, why is that good for you though? You get a higher interest rate. So it's kind of a win-win situation, right? But Easton came to the conclusion that banks are just, what'd you say?
Banks are just parasites.
Parasites.
Parasite.
Mrs. Landheis just taught us that.
She did?
She did.
That banks are parasites.
Banks are parasites.
So letter F. Jim Russell's $1,500 deposit could earn $18.87 in 12 months in a savings account paying 1.25% daily interest. So again, if I was doing that, I'd have to go back and use one of those probably compound interest tables that we learned a couple chapters ago. How much more interest could Jim earn in a 3-month CD that pays 3.26% simple interest every 3 months during the 12-month period? Okay? So, what are we going to do? Remember, all of these based off of this formula still? Okay? So, what was my principal? What did we start out with? 1,500. What is our CD rate? 0.0326. And what is my amount of time? 3 months, right? So 3 over 12, or you could have used what? 1/4. Now, is this answer right here that I'm going to come up with what I want?
No,
What do I want?
you want the 12 month.
Okay, I want 12 months. So what do I have to do to this answer?
Multiply by 4.
Multiply by 4. So, somebody punch that into your calculator. So, realistically, do I have to use the 1/4 in this problem?
No.
No. I could just use what? 1 year. So I could just do that right there if I wanted to.
Wait, what?
Right? Because this is giving me 1/4 of the amount. But I'm going to multiply it by 4. Because I'm going to do that, right?
So you could just do.
So I could just do this. Because if I cover this up, that's like putting a 1 there. Because it's 1 year, right? That makes sense? How much?
48.9.
48.9. Now, is that my answer?
Multiply by 4, right?
No, we already did that because we didn't do this right here.
Divided by 4.
Mm-mm.
Subtract 8.8.
Okay, hold on. Slow down. If you did this right here, what I actually have written down, you would have to multiply that answer by 4. So I didn't do that. I eliminated this and used a 1 because it's 1 year. This is months.
Yes.
I'm doing it 1 year because they asked me to do that for 1 year in the problem.
Okay.
Okay? So I just eliminated doing the times 4.
Okay.
Does that make sense here?
Yes.
And that's why we got this.
Yes.
This is my 1 year thing.
Yes.
So basically, if I divided this by 4, I would have made, this would have given me like $12.20.
Okay.
That make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, answer the question though.
Subtract 18.87.
18, what was it?
87.
So my grand total is,
30.03.
and this means what?
How much more?
How much more I can make using a CD than my simple interest in my savings account. So look how much more I made, $30 in 1 year. That's quite a bit, right? But realize if I did this option, I might not be able to get out that $1,500.
Yeah.
So again, that's what you got to remember in the back of your mind. Will I possibly need that money? So again, when you start doing the comparison ones for the assignment, do not fall in love with the bigger percentage. It's not always the best deal. Okay? Everybody understand? F. All right. So the last part that you have to do for the assignment is your effective rate of interest, which is at the bottom of 112. The effective rate of interest, again, is what are we actually getting for our interest rate? Yes, they tell us, like in the last problem, that it was 3.26%. They might have actually said that it was 3.25%. So it's kind of a rounded off number. When you do this last part, you're saying, I want to know the exact percentage. Okay? And when you do this, you got to remember to do or make this amount. So, again, we're looking for some kind of percentage in these problems. So you're going to make a fraction every single time for these. And this is your interest in 1 year. So if you were asked to do it quarterly, and you found the quarterly amount of interest, then you would have to multiply that by 4. Or if you were doing it semi-annually, which means twice, then you'd have to multiply that by 2. And then you're going to divide it by the principal. Okay? Every single time. So, this one you might have to do a little manipulation of your percentages. And we'll talk about that in just a second. So, do you understand what we're going to do here? Okay. Letter G on page 113. A deposit of $2,000 is in an account that pays 4% annual interest. Easy enough. But it's compounded quarterly. So remember when we did compounded quarterly things? We need to go back to page 82. So put your finger in the page right there and go back to the table on page 82. Remember this compound interest table?
Yeah.
So remember across the top is my rate per period and then the number of periods. So when it says that it is compounded quarterly, what do I have to do with my annual interest rate? Divide by 4. Awesome. So that's the first thing that I'm going to do. And then I'm going to take that and I'm going to figure out how many payments or how many periods that I have. So it says find the effective rate of interest to the nearest 100% if the money is on deposit for 1 year. All right? So, how many periods is it? 4 periods. What's my percentage? 1. So go 4 periods on the left-hand side, across to 1%, and what's my multiplier?
1.040604.
Perfect. Take that times 2,000. Somebody, please.
$2,081.
All right, so what does that mean now? Okay, everybody agree with that? So when we did the multiplier, we got, say the number again, please.
$2,081.21.
Why would it just be 1 and not 1.25?
Okay, because remember, when they said the interest rate, it was 4%, but it's compounded quarterly, so I have to take this and divide it by 4. Because this is my whole interest rate, I wanted my quarterly interest rate. So this turns into 1% per quarter that I would have done. Okay? So that's where we got our multiplier. So as Easton said, we originated the account with $2,000. So we really made $81.21 in interest. This is going to be my number up there. So I take $81.21 divided by what I started with, which is $2,000, and I come up with some kind of decimal. What's that decimal? 0.0406. Perfect. So essentially, my effective rate is, if I move this 2 places, they advertised that I was going to get 4% interest, but when I do the math, I actually got 4.06% interest. So it was actually better for me. Okay?
Nice.
Yeah. So instead of them bringing you into the bank and saying, hey, come for 4.06%, they would simply just say 4%, and then you just get a little extra at the end. Make sense? Okay. Want to try H?
Yeah.
All right. A CD pays 4% yearly interest and compounds interest daily. Okay? Find the effective rate of interest to the nearest tenth if $6,000 was on deposit for 1 year. So go back, page 82 again. Actually, this one would be on 83. Because now you got to do the daily interest rate, right?
Yep.
So how many years?
1,
1 year. What's my annual interest rate?
4%.
4%. So this one I don't have to do the division. So I go across and find 4% down to 1, and I'm going to use what multiplier?
1.040808.
Perfect. So I take that times 6,000, and I get what?
6244.85.
244.85. So that's my amount of interest, right?
That's a lot.
Divided by 6,000. So what's my real rate?
1.040.
No, we already built it.
I did it wrong.
No, that can't be right.
Isn't it 6,044 minus 6,000?
I did that right there. So take 244.85 divided by 6,000.
0.0408.
Perfect. So my effective rate is 4.08%. So again, when you find the effective rate, you're finding the exact rate. And it's probably always going to be a little higher. You're just showing yourself that you're getting more than what they advertised.
Makes it feel good.
Makes you feel good. So you're getting 0.08% extra from them.
So we're just.
So more pleasant.
What?
All right,
It's a date.
questions? Aid Landlord's program.
That doesn't help me.
No, he said why did they
Oh,
Today's the 6th.
that doesn't help me.
All right, here we go. Got lots of time. Do the problem so you get done and you don't have to worry about math tonight.